What's up, Victoria? It's Victoria, and today we're going to look back on my makeup purchases I made in January of 2025 because I think it's really good to look back on makeup purchases that you've made today so you can make better makeup purchases in the future. So if you are new to my channel, I just keep a spreadsheet of all of the makeup that I purchase, and I think about it in a couple of different ways. I'm a content creator. I do make a little bit of money doing this. This is a part-time job for me, so my relationship to makeup is going to be a little bit different than yours. So sometimes I do explicitly buy makeup to review on my channel that I wouldn't have bought otherwise because I don't have that kind of interest in that makeup, and you'll see that in this video and it will make a little more sense to you. I did buy a couple of things in January of last year. The first series of things I bought were stuff from Trixie Cosmetics. Trixie Cosmetics is a brand that I was aware of, but I had never bought anything from because I didn't think the brand had a lot to offer to me. I was getting comments pretty regularly at the end of 2024 that people were kind of craving some Trixie Cosmetics content. After doing some research on YouTube, it doesn't seem that a lot of people talk about Trixie Cosmetics on YouTube. It does seem that they focus a lot of their gifting and a lot of their influencer pushes over on TikTok and Instagram. Anything that really is short form, which is totally okay, which is interesting though, because Trixie herself is a YouTuber and doesn't really do short form. I do think that her brand is a younger seeming brand, so I think it makes more sense to be advertised a little more heavily on those platforms than it is here on YouTube. The other great thing about Trixie Cosmetics is that their stuff is pretty affordable, so you're able to buy a smattering of products to try out and review at a pretty inexpensive cost. I spent $130-ish on what I bought, and I did get a pretty good smattering, enough to do a pretty detailed first impressions video, and then later circling back on what I thought about those products later in the year through reckonings. And I also did a video at the end of 2025 where I did the best and worst of Trixie Cosmetics. If you really want to know everything I feel about all of the stuff I have tried since this initial push of me trying Trixie Cosmetics, that's a really great way to get to know how I feel about the products. We'll cover it a little bit here though as well. When I think about why I bought this, it was certainly to create content with it. It wasn't really out of curiosity to myself. I had some curiosity in it. I do like Trixie Mattel as a drag performer. I watch RuPaul's Drag Race, so I was familiar with her. I've seen there are a lot of things to like about Trixie Mattel, and I was kind of fearful, I think, that I wouldn't like Trixie's products, so I never wanted to try them because it's not fun to dog on people that you like. I do stand by that brands are not our friends, and even if they are owned by someone I have a parasocial relationship with, it's a brand and its main goal is to make money, and my main goal as a makeup reviewer is to be honest about those experiences. But I do think that sometimes I will avoid brands that I think I would like, or brands that are associated with a person I like, just to avoid any kind of clashing of me not liking a product but also liking the person. I did a first impressions video with all of this makeup, and that was the main thing that I did with this makeup. When I'm thinking about whether or not something was a good purchase, specifically when it was something I bought as a business expense for the channel, the content I make with that makeup has to do better than the content that I regularly make. And in the case of the first impressions video that I made with this makeup, it did quite well. I think it got nearly 7,000 views at this point, which is pretty high for me. I typically get between 2,000 and 3,500 is a pretty sweet spot for where my content usually gets without some kind of extenuating circumstance. So it did do exceedingly well, and I think that is just simply because not a lot of people talk about Trixie Cosmetics on YouTube, and my audience was right that I would be filling a hole in the YouTube algorithm for Trixie Cosmetics products. Well, I'm not sure how many subscribers I got from it, but I do think that through AdSense I did make the money back on that video.
Liza Minnelli, lies.
Something that I also like to keep in mind was is there a return on investment when it actually comes to AdSense and how much I made on that video. These brand reviews that I do, they are quite expensive. So Trixie's relatively inexpensive. To get a good grasp of the brand, I spent $130. But for a brand like Violette FR, which is a brand I'm testing right now and I have a lot of it on my face right now, I spent about $300 and I got very little product for that $300. This is a little bit different. I was able to make my money back on it, but I fear that when I do my Violette FR brand review and I finally put it up on YouTube, it will probably not make my return on investment. But anyway, it depends on what the investment is. So if I'm getting new subscribers or getting views, sometimes I'm taking an L on the monetary to get some wins in subscribers or views. And this video did get me the views that I wanted. And that is really great. Not only that, some of the products were very, very much bangers. So people who watch my channel regularly know that I really love the cream bronzer I tried from this haul. I've almost fully panned it. So it's now a year later and I don't have much of that bronzer left, which for someone who uses makeup the way I do, that's pretty impressive for that bronzer to have sparked such interest in me that I feel that I'm going to completely pan it, which is a rarity for me as a content creator or just as a makeup user in general. I very rarely fully pan products, and this has been a very effortless journey for me to finish the bronzer. And some of the other products I tried, I still actually have in my collection. The Cult Classic blush I still have. I have the black eyeliner I bought for that video. I think I might still have one of the lip products as well. And I ended up really liking a lot of what Trixie Cosmetics had to offer. So much so that after I posted that video, the brand reached out and added me to their PR list. So now I do get Trixie Cosmetics PR. I've tried a lot from the brand. There's only a couple of things I think I haven't tried a shade of so far. For the most part, I really like what they do except for their eyeshadows. And I did not actually buy any powder eyeshadows in that initial review because the eyeshadows actually turned out exactly to be what I thought they were.
You're that girl I knew you were.
And that was not good. They actually turned out to not be good. But like almost everything else Trixie Cosmetics offers is like very, very good. I'm glad that I also know that about the brand, and it's created like, you know, a pretty fruitful relationship between me and the brand, and that feels really nice that I'm on their PR list now. I don't feel special in the way that like I think she knows who I am or anything, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and I'm very like honored to be on the PR list. And like that's one of those PR lists that I like wouldn't have said before I did that video that I would want to be on their PR list, but this is a brand that I'm actually like very excited to be on their PR list, and the reason is because they often release products that I would not have tried otherwise, and then getting it in PR, it's easier to try it because I have no investment in it. And then sometimes those products turn out to be very lovely, but sometimes the opposite happens and I really hate them. And there's a nice balance of that. So anyway, this really worked out for me as a purchase. Like I'm on the PR list now. The video did well. People do really seem to enjoy and get a kick out of whenever I do review Trixie Cosmetics products and whenever I do get to try them. So it's just like, it's just turned out to be this really beautiful snowball effect. And yeah, this is totally worth it. In my opinion, looking back on it, this was a great purchase for the channel, for me, like ending up loving some of the makeup, which is always what you want when you're trying out a new brand. It's just really great. This makes me really happy. Like this purchase, like it just like was the catalyst for a lot of stuff. And that's very cool. The second thing I bought was a selfish purchase, and that's okay, I'm allowed to buy makeup that I'm interested in. I bought Urban Decay's Diamond Dog Moondust eyeshadow, and the reason I bought this is because I thought I would like it more than I like the shade Lithium. If you're not familiar with the Moondust eyeshadows, there's like a couple of different pretty popular shades. Space Cowboy, I would say, is maybe the most popular one, and then I would say like Lithium's another really popular one, especially in the circles that I run in here on the internet. Like we talk a lot about sparkly brown eyeshadow here, and especially if it's like taupey, and sometimes people do include Lithium as a taupe eyeshadow. I disagree. Also, Solstice is a pretty popular shade. So I bought some of the Moondust eyeshadows and I really liked them. It was my first time really trying them. I had a Moondust eyeshadow forever ago that I really liked, and then I got back into them. Lithium is a little bit too green for my liking. There's two colors that my skin will turn things into that a lot of other people do not see in a color, which is I will either turn something orange or I will turn something green. This typically happens with contour shades. A lot of the mass market contour shades will turn green on me or orange on me. So a lot of people put Lithium on, they don't see any kind of green hue in it. When I put it on my eyes, it's not like it turns it like a green, like a vibrant green, but I can see the undertone of the green. It like pops out a lot. And I don't completely dislike green eyeshadow, but I wanted it to be like a taupe, and I'm very into that kind of like shiny taupe with a warm base and like a lot of silver sparkle on the top. I've done videos on it. Like this is just the kind of eyeshadow shade I really like. And since Space Cowboy turned very orange on me, I was like, Diamond Dog is going to be the solution. But Diamond Dog is like a lot warmer than Lithium is. And I thought it was going to have more silver sparkles in it. And I just didn't really love the way it looked on me. It was just too simple of a shade. And not that I think I wear a lot of complex colors, but whenever I am looking at this kind of eyeshadow category, which is an eyeshadow category I really like and have a lot of these taupey silvery shades, if it's not special enough, I'm not going to keep it. So we wore it a couple of times and a lot of people really like this shade. It's a very popular shade of eyeshadow. But for me, I still think Lithium is a better eyeshadow shade, but Lithium is still not for me. That means Diamond Dog is really not for me, and that just sucked. It didn't work out for me. And when I bought Diamond Dog, it was a relaunch of it. Diamond Dog was like not in stock, and then it was in stock, and then I didn't see it in person before I bought it. And I think if I would have interacted with this in person before I bought it, I don't think I would have bought it. If I would have swatched it and Lithium next to each other just before buying, I would have been like, oh yeah, I don't need this. This is not for me. And now I think Diamond Dog you can see in displays like at Sephora and Ulta. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think I have seen Diamond Dog in a store to swatch. So if you were interested in it and you have like a similar problem with Lithium that I do, just check it out. If you like warmer eyeshadow shades, you might like Diamond Dog, but it was just a little too warm for me. I've seen it on other people and it doesn't look as orange on them, and that's a me problem. Like I just turned everything orange. It's a bit of a fail for me. I don't think it was a good purchase. I just was so excited. I think I had recently watched before buying it. Amanda Z did a video where it just like was this real, it was like, I don't know, it was like maybe a 2-hour long video where she just swatched every single eyeshadow she had. Not ones from palettes, but just single eyeshadows. And she talked about Diamond Dog so highly. I was pilled. And this is what I have learned since I made that purchase. And this is something I like already knew. It was one of those moments where I let the hype sweep me up and just like allowed myself to buy the $25 eyeshadow. like I got swept up in it and I just like allowed myself to do it. And this was just a nice reminder that that is probably always going to work out for the worse for me. So this is a thing, I don't regret buying it, but it was certainly something that I could have saved $25 on if I didn't buy it. So not a complete fail. I like know that now. I can impart that information onto you as a content creator. I did buy this selfishly. It was for me. I wanted it and it didn't work out. And it didn't work out for reasons I should have known better for. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments down below if you remember what you bought in January of last year. And if you do you still use those products? Were they good purchases? Let us know in the comments down below. If you are new to me, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. The like button and the hype button are down there as well if you have that feature. I'm on Patreon and I have channel memberships. I mentioned that I am testing out Violette FR products. I keep my first impressions for brand reviews for my patrons and members because they're the people who essentially buy the product that I end up reviewing. So if you want to see my first impressions, that's the way to do that over there. I also have other like more personal content on Patreon. If you want to get to know me better, that's like a good way to do it. But if you're not into Patreon, no worries, babe. I'm just happy that you are here. I will have a pinned comment. In that comment will be links to support people who need your help. I'm going to try to find some GoFundMes to help people who have been affected by ice, but there's also other links down there. And also I have 5calls.org links. They have scripts over there to be able to better speak to your Congress people and your senators to tell them how you feel about the goings on in the country right now. So if you have some free time, you can check those out and call. And if you are someone who gets nervous on the phone, you can always call after hours and leave a message, but I've heard that's less effective, but just, you know, you're still doing a little bit of something. And if you are protesting, I hope you're keeping yourself safe. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to follow your hoe and you'll find me. And I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth. Tits out. Oh God. And it was yours. Jesus Christ, Tom. Oh no. Okay. It was the